welcome back to the starting lineup along with Kip Keefer. It is Tony Curry, another monster day here in the starting lineup every single Saturday morning, ABC 3340. We got a monster lineup today. Vanderbilt, Texas, going to kick it off. Georgia, Florida, the big old drinking game. And, of course, also a little bit later on tonight, we've got Oklahoma and Tennessee. And along with that, we do have some plays on that Tennessee game because Kai's actually got the Tennessee game in his Bankroll contest, which we'll do a little bit later on the show. And also the legend is going to be in his cave. He's got a lot to talk about too as well. But we got a lot of coaching changes going on right now. Man. And I think the biggest question is, where will Lane Kiffin be coaching next season, despite the fact that he says it ain't about the money?
I'll give you a hint.
Yeah.
I think that's where he's going to wind up. I think that's always been on his radar. He's a Steve Spurrier fanatic. He wears the visor as a tribute to Steve Spurrier. I think he fancies himself as the modern day old ball coach.
He looks good.
And his one-liners, his quips, a lot of his shtick kind of comes from that Steve Spurrier. So I look for Florida to make the proper arrangements. I really think he's on his way to Gainesville.
There is some word that perhaps Ed Orgeron could be back in the breath of the LSU Bayou Bengal Tigers. He has won a national title there. The last three LSU coaches before Brian Kelly all won national titles. Ed Orgeron was one of those cats. Way to go, Brian. You messed it up. But yeah, they wouldn't bring Ed back, would they?
No, I don't think so. But it's an interesting discussion, Tony, because a motivator like Ed Orgeron, who a lot of the other coaches just say, you give this guy a particular assignment and he does it better because he relates to players so well. He had two unbelievable coordinators in that LSU championship year. He had Joe Brady, who's also a candidate for the job now. And he had Dave Aranda, head coach at Baylor now.
And he had this kid named Joe Burrow, who was also
that helped too.
So it was his quarterback, and I think Jamar Chase might have been part of that. He had one heck of a group. It's amazing too because this is going to be one of the craziest, chaotic coaching searching years ever because so many jobs. I think there are 13 jobs open right now, mid-season. Of course, you're talking about coaches like Keefer from Georgia Tech, but I heard Brian Kelly may get the Georgia Tech job when that opens up. Of course, Franklin's still out there. He's going to want to coach again. It's crazy. And we're not even talking about some of the hoo-haws out there, the Bill Cowhers of the world, or will Bill Belichick be at North Carolina again next season? It's going to be kind of crazy. From what I'm hearing, they have extended the job to him and said, we did this not as an experiment, but yes, it's the Bill Belichick's job. So as long as he wants it, he's still in North Carolina. Now, whether North Carolina wants them or not is another question.
It's really insane. I think the model is, let's stop recycling these coaches that have proven they can't get it done. Hugh Freeze is hanging by a thread. He's 1-10 in SEC games of consequence against ranked SEC opponents. The James Franklins of the world, who was 4-24 against top 25. I mean, that's pretty resounding evidence that these guys probably don't deserve another huge money chance. Maybe the best model is to get kind of a middling coach and pay a couple of coordinators a bunch of money too, and make that the collective. Because I think maybe that's the Ed Orgeron experiment proved that you don't have to be a brilliant head coach if you've got the right lieutenants.
You're only as good as your assistant coaches. Nick Saban is that guy that's had great coaches around him. Not to say that he's not the best of all time. Don't get me wrong, but he's had some incredible assistant coaches. And assistant coaches, obviously, that wanted to be around him. Hey, not only is today the first day of November, but this is also, did you know this is Marriage Saturday? Because of the Alabama bye, this is when everyone's getting married. If you're going to get, today is Wedding Saturday for you Alabama fans out there. They're like, we ain't getting married when Bama's on TV. Today's your day.
Well, nobody invited me.
I got 3 friends of mine who are actually tying the knot.
How about that?
One of my friends just proposed to his girlfriend a couple days ago. Congratulations to Miles. Hopefully she said yes. A big day for people to be getting out.
Yeah, I didn't think about that, but that makes a lot of sense.
Monster Day, Vandy, Texas. You think about that Vandy, Texas game real quick. I know you and I going back and forth on Texas.
Yeah.
You actually said before the show you're thinking about taking Texas minus 2.5.
I don't like the Texas team. I predicted, we did the segment to start the season, who's going to be the biggest bust. I said, I'm going to start right at the top of Texas. And I know they've only lost 2 games, but I think they're a considerable bust. I just don't believe in Vanderbilt. I didn't like the game against Missouri. I thought they barely held on. I think the Longhorns find a way to beat them in Austin today.
Their only loss against Alabama. You got another game, the world's biggest drink fest, if you will.
Yeah, I like how you rephrased
Georgia, Florida. That's going to be coming up, a 7-point line. Of course, later on tonight, it's Oklahoma and Tennessee. So we got a full lineup. It's at the top of the hour. And, of course, we've got Terry on here. We've got the Legend coming up here. And our bankroll, we have a brand new first place winner right now. Dewey is in first place again.
No, they're Case Keefer he managed to go 1 for 2 and is holding on by a thin thread, with Tony Curry lurking just in behind the Legend brothers in Case. So the horse race is on. And hopefully last, way back in the back of the pack, you can barely see him, Kip Keefer. Shocking.
You'll get there, my friend. So starting lineup, welcome in.
It's the Legend from the Paul Feinbaum Show here at the Birmingham Racetrack Casino. A little bit of Vegas right here in Birmingham, baby. Come on out and check it out. You will be amazed. I am standing here with my podcast partner. That's right, we got a podcast called Fanatical Podcast, and I'm with my co-host right now, the one and only. No, it's not Jordan, baby, but it's close. The Bama Hater. How you doing, brother?
Hey, man, I appreciate it, man. Hey, we're having a good time with this podcast thing, man. You guys need to join in. Tune in to YouTube Fanatical Podcast with me and Legend. We talk about college football. We give our perspectives and our outtakes, who we like, who we don't like. We don't sugarcoat it, baby. Hey, we do it every week, so you guys need to tune in and enjoy yourself and give us your perspective and backlash. Tell us the truth. Tell us what you think about the show.
Yeah, let me have that back. Yeah, we always had it, bro. Hey, bro, tell me who's going to win the championship this year?
The one and only Miami Hurricanes.
Hey, that's the Alabama Crimson Tide going to win it this year. Hey, this man knows sports until it comes to football and who's going to win it all, and then he loses sight of who is truly the greatest. Who's the greatest team ever, brother?
Hey, has-beens are has-beens. I don't care what the team name starts with. You were once was a legend, and legend still, but – the dynasty is dead, buried, and gone. We told you before Nick left. Hey, look, wait. Nothing has happened since Nick left. Nothing will happen until he comes back. And guess what? He ain't coming back.
You don't know what he's talking about, ladies and gentlemen. Alabama's King, Fanatical Podcast. Go to YouTube and check it out. We're going crazy every week. Fanatical Podcast on YouTube. Check it out, baby.
Hi, I'm Terry Quillian. Welcome to the Coach's Corner. And this week, there has been so much happening in the world of SEC coaches, which has had me thinking. Normally, when you think about where's the seat of power in the SEC, I think Birmingham. It's the headquarters of the SEC, and that's where you're going to find Greg Sankey. So, of course, that would be where the seat of power is. But is it this week? With openings at LSU, Florida, and Arkansas for the head coaching positions, I think the seat of power right now is in Memphis, Tennessee, on a back porch. And that is the back porch that belongs to super agent Jimmy Sexton. I mean, when you look at these crazy contracts and buyouts, it's very interesting to look at who's pulling the strings on that, who's negotiating those deals for SEC and other coaches. Well, in the SEC, it's Jimmy Sexton. His house in Memphis right now is the seat of power. You're wondering, how much power does he have in the SEC? Well, look at the coaches in the SEC that Jimmy Sexton represents. Kalen DeBoer, Kirby Smart, Lane Kiffin, Mike Elko, Steve Sarkisian, Shane Beamer, Hugh Freeze, and the coaching late Billy Napier. He also represents super high-profile coaches outside the SEC like Dan Lanning, James Franklin, Dan Mullen, Gus Malzahn, and he was Nick Saban's agent when Nick was still coaching. There's a lot of power happening there in Memphis. It's really weird when you think about it, too, because you've got schools apparently jockeying for Lane Kiffin. You've got both Florida and LSU interested in Lane. Lane is, of course, represented by Jimmy Sexton. And it was really interesting at the game last week in Athens between Ole Miss and Georgia because Lane Kiffin came onto the field with Jimmy Sexton. Now, Jimmy is also Kirby's agent, so you would think that would be a little weird until you think about the coaching changes going on because Jimmy Sexton is going to win no matter what. Even if Lane stays put at Ole Miss, it would probably be with a renegotiated and much richer contract, all of which is going to go to Jimmy Sexton. Now, it's said that Jimmy Sexton has negotiated over $8 billion worth of deals for head coaches in college football. $8 billion, that is really something. It's interesting because Jimmy got his start back in 1983 when he was only 20 years old. He was the equipment manager for the University of Tennessee, and he just happened to also be the roommate of Reggie White. So it was interesting, the USFL, the team in Memphis, the Memphis Showboats, I think it was called, they wanted Reggie White. They went to Jimmy Sexton and said, hey, can you help us get Reggie White? Now, at the time, the highest paid player in the NFL was Lawrence Taylor, making $400,000 a year. That was the highest paid player. Jimmy Sexton, as a kid, negotiated the contract with the USFL Memphis team for, at that time, over $4 million on a 5-year deal. Reggie got the biggest contract in football history by none other than a 20-year-old Jimmy Sexton, and it's done nothing but explode since then. And you know what? We can't blame Jimmy for the debacle that is going on in Baton Rouge with Brian Kelly, because that's someone who was not a Jimmy Sexton client.
The Birmingham Racecourse Casino turns dreams into reality. Like Roger M., who just won over $51,000. And Rebecca, celebrating a life-changing jackpot of $160,000. You could be the next to dance the Icky Shuffle with a big win.
Woo! I'm a winner! I'm a winner! Woo! I'm a winner! I'm a winner! Woo! And you can be a winner too!
Don't miss your chance to be our next big winner at the Birmingham Racecourse Casino.
Hey everybody, it's our weekly feature SEC preview, all the big games in the best conference in America, and I've got two guest analysts today. Thrilled to have the amazing mayor of Birmingham, Don Don, and a new star on our show, John Hardival. We're going to break down the big games this week. Let's start, guys, in Austin, Texas. This is kind of the last gasp for them. If they lose to Vanderbilt today, I think they're done. What do you think, Don Don?
I think they're done too, but I think it's hook 'em horns this Saturday.
Yeah,
Vanderbilt's going down.
It was just a grim struggle. John, what's your take on the game?
I'm going to go with Vanderbilt. I think it might have been a look ahead to Texas and the way Texas is playing. They barely beat Mississippi State and then a huge comeback in the fourth quarter. Going with Vandy this weekend.
Other big games, the cocktail party in Jacksonville. Everybody talks about that every year. Florida's a 7.5-point underdog against Georgia with an interim staff. I'm sure Kirby Smart's kind of anxious to test these new guys and see what they got. What do you think, John?
I think Georgia big Saturday.
I agree with John. I think it's a 2-touchdown game. Go Dogs.
All right. The Dogs getting some love here. And Don Don's been waiting for this one. Speaking of losers leave town, we might be talking about the coaches here because the hot seat is certainly in play in both of the venues, Lexington and Auburn. It's the Tigers and the Wildcats at Jordan-Hare, another night game. They're the primetime specialists this year. We'll start with you, John. How do you see this one?
I think it's going to be another great game, but I think Auburn will come out. I think the new quarterback gave the team life. I think Auburn wins this game.
All right, Don Don, you're telling me Jackson Arnold's not going to see the field. What do you think?
No, he will not see the field. But 10.5 for me is way too much on this game. I pick an Auburn 21 to 14.
Oh, welcome to the Legend King. We got a Tom Brady to play the football this week. I see you, Brady. We did all the hell we could get down here in UAB land. Yeah. Tony, on a week where we are taking a week off in Alabama, tell us about what you think about these UAB Blazers to our Birmingham people out there.
We had head coach Alex Mortensen. Hope he gets the job. Nice enough to come in. He said anytime when he's in the starting lineup, he was fantastic. Gets the big victory in the Battle of the Bones against Memphis. Now he goes against the UConn squad, catching 11 points. Has the flip and switch gone on for the UAB Blazers 8 games into the season? Can they possibly not only get the victory, but end up going to a bowl game this year?
Vegas doesn't think so. They're an 11.5-point dog against Connecticut.
Alex. Vegas believe, baby. Vegas believe.
Vegas believe, Birmingham. We watching you. Go support them Blazers. Hey, Alabama's out. Go support the Blazers. Hey, kid, I gotta hear it from you, brother. Alabama survived up in South Carolina. That rooster was pecking at him, but we got away with a W. What do you think about that Alabama team looking at LSU next week?
Well, I think their offensive line better learn how to block somebody because, Legend, they've got to run the football some. When you get into the games with the big-time teams that are coming up down the line, you've got to get that running game on. And Jam Miller's too good a back. If the problem's on the offensive line, we've been having this discussion for 3 years. What's going on down there?
Well, it's supposed to be the best offensive line in the nation. Only 6 yards going into the third quarter last week. But hey, 6 straight weeks, Tony. It was a tired football team just to get out of South Carolina with a win. That is surviving a gas.
It's a W.
All that matters.
I called my old golden child, Jay Barker, the other day, and I said, remember that 1992 season? I said, what did you win against Southern Miss? He said, 17-10. I said, didn't you beat La Tech? He said, yeah, 13-0. You need a lot of horseshoes up the woo-hoo once in a while to be a national champion. Alabama's getting it done against the best competition out there, despite what you may say.
Well,
it's the best stuff out there.
Let's give our man Legend credit. He said 2 years ago, I don't care about winning every game anymore. I just want to go to the dance. You're in great position to do that this year.
In great position. We got LSU coming up. Kip, does this LSU team have anything to make Alabama be afraid of?
No, I think they already quit on Brian Kelly this year, and I don't see them rallying around Frank Wilson. What was he, like an insurance salesman in Baton Rouge?
I think that's my uncle, Frank Wilson.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You're Wilson.
I don't know where that Frank Wilson went.
I'm looking for a blowout next weekend in T-Town, and it's not going to be by the guys wearing the yellow helmets.
Tony, is there anything left on this schedule? Only road game left for Alabama is Auburn. Is there anything on this schedule left that we need to worry about that will prevent a playoff run by this team?
We talked about Penn State. Florida State's probably going to change job. We got Florida out there. We got LSU. We got all these job openings. Is Auburn going to be part of that at the end of the year? And can they afford to wait till the end of the season? Doesn't matter if Hugh Freeze beats Alabama at the end of the season. I think not, because he ain't going to get it done anyway.
They ain't going to get it done. Hey, remember, it's just a game. Don't be late to start now. Sports Insane.
It's time for, since my name's on the door, I get to do a 1-minute rant. And I'm going to do that in the best way I can without getting overexcited. But my subject matter today is I told you so. I told you 4 of the 5 top preseason ranked teams were frauds, phonies, pretenders. I was right about Texas. I was right about Clemson. I was right about Penn State especially. And I was right about LSU. 2 of those coaches are not even employed anymore. So how right can a guy be? The Big Ten is a bona fide fraud, phony, pretender this year. Indiana and Ohio State, number 1 and number 2. The brilliant Heather Dinich from ESPN tells you Indiana might be the best team in the country. Bull. Indiana and Ohio State playing a bunch of cupcakes. They've got 7 cupcake teams in their own conference. So you've got 7 of your 18 teams in the league that are awful. You've got some middling teams that are pretty competitive. Oregon against awful Penn State, who's lost 4 in a row, had to go to double overtime to overcome them. So big deal. Ohio State doesn't play anybody all year. They don't even play Oregon or Indiana this season. And Indiana's fattening up against all those bottom feeders. Okay, they beat Iowa. They beat Illinois. Those are decent teams. But they barely beat Iowa at Iowa. They blew out Illinois. I just don't think these teams are credible. I think if they played a Big Ten schedule, these top teams in the Big Ten played an SEC schedule, they would have 2 or 3 losses each. And it matters in college football who you play. people basing their opinion on statistics and rankings. It's all ridiculous. It's not real. Let's see Indiana line up against Texas A&M. Let's see them play Georgia, Alabama, or Ole Miss. I think all those teams beat them by double digits. That's my opinion, and I've got some credibility on my side. That's Kip Keefer's take for this week.
Hard to believe we're inside 2 months till Christmas time. Christmas time means toy time, and toy time means Sasquatch toys and comics. You get over 300,000 comics down there on Citation. This place is unbelievable. You walk in the store and it's one book after another. If you're into Legos, anything that you've got as far as it's still boxed up, Legos from the 60s, 70s, 80s Star Wars.
Where does Seth gather all this stuff?
He goes around the country and picks the stuff up. He's been fantastic. We love having him right here on the starting lineup. And K4 Wins continues to do our thing. Of course, we celebrated the sports equinox where we had all four major sports going off, only the 32nd time since 1971 that happened. But K4 Wins doing pretty well too, huh?
Yeah, it's rolling right along, and it's in a market where you hear all these professionals whining how tough it is. Well, I mean, we think it's tough too, but we still come up with winners for you. And if you're going to be investing in sports, it's a lot more fun to be a winner chicken dinner.
The old lady does not care that you gamble. She cares that you lose when you gamble. If you're winning, she ain't going to have a word to say about it. You have a little extra cash, go to k4wins.com, k4wins.com, and be a winner chicken dinner this weekend right here with the starting lineup.
Hey, it's Case Keefer back for another edition of the Vegas Heaters. I am a longtime sports bettor and sports betting writer, along with assistant sports editor for Greenspun Media Group, which includes Las Vegas Sun and Las Vegas Weekly. First losing week of the year for me in the Bankroll picks at the end of this segment last week. Luckily didn't go winless though. 1-2 will look to bounce back. We have been winning overall in this section though, although we've been doing more future bets. I'm going to do a little bit more of that today, get a little bit away from football. But first, I always like to focus on things going on in Vegas. So both things I'm going to break down today before the Bankroll picks have a Vegas tie. Let's go to the Raiders game on Sunday. Raiders and Jaguars returning from the bye week. I know no one wants probably to have anything to do with this game, but I think there is a great prop opportunity here. Brock Bowers returning for the Raiders. Talked to him today shortly before filming the segment. I really think he is 100% for the first time since week one, where he saw him have a big game. I know everyone's been asking me about Brock Bowers. I think he has a bounce back. I think the Raiders go to him to try to spark this passing offense. I've seen his over-under receptions at 4.5 yards. Now, a little bit highly juiced, like minus 150, but I would take over 4.5 all day. I do believe it probably closes more like the 5.5 range. That's fine too. Don't go higher than that, though. He is coming back from an injury, but I think the Raiders will lean heavily on Brock Bowers over 4.5. Next, we're going to get into one of my favorite events of the year. Unfortunately, at least in America, it doesn't seem like a lot of other people's favorites. Hasn't totally caught on. I'm talking about the Emirates NBA Cup, formerly known as the in-season tournament, year 3 coming up here. Actually, group play started last night. I'm recording before the first night has finished. You guys have already seen it, but I thought a fun way to get into this, of course, it concludes in Las Vegas in December. We have the Final Four here, and the championship game is just an event that I think the community here is really rallied around. Internationally, you will not believe the amount of international media here. I think it's more how other sports around the world are set up with different competitions going on within the same time. It's been tough to our country to jump on, but I think that eventually it's going to be that way. So get ahead. I'm going to give you a rundown of the event right now. And through a betting lens, of course, I'm going to give you a best bet in each of the groups. Maybe we'll come back before the NBA Cup Finals, and I'll give you my thought on that. But let's start in the East, Group A, where I'm going a little bit chalky here. Cleveland, minus 110. If you listen to my NBA breakdown the last couple of weeks, you know I'm super high on the Cavaliers. Haven't started great, but this group is kind of a joke. Who's the second best team? The Hawks, and they're a mess right now. Give me Cleveland minus 110. I think they start Friday night against Toronto. Hopefully they haven't already lost by the time you see this. Give me Cleveland minus 110. Group B, let's go to Boston, 4-1. Rumors of their demise have been greatly exaggerated. They still shoot a lot of threes, still play really good defense. Not a title contender this year, but they can be a cup contender. We only need to win 4 games to get into the bracket. I've got the Boston Celtics at 4-1. Next, the longest shot in East Group C. Give me Chicago 8-1. I don't know if anyone's been paying attention, but Chicago, one of the revelations of the early NBA season. Josh Giddey, Mattis Buzelis, I think they got a really good 1-2 punch. And I'm looking to take shots against the Knicks. They've looked good so far. Give me Chicago at 8-1. I'm glad we got 2 long shots. Now we're going to be a little bit chalky as we get to the West. In Group A, I think you got to go with the Thunder at minus 200. This group is kind of a joke, especially now with Minnesota banged up. No Anthony Edwards. Oklahoma City minus 200. In West Group B, this is the group of death. We've got Golden State. We've got Houston, we've got Denver, we've got San Antonio. I just think the way Denver's path sets up a little bit better, so give me Denver 2-1. Finally in Group C, this might be the best bet. Clippers at plus 205. They kind of got the benefit of that group of death in B. They should have an easy setup here, especially the Lakers without LeBron and Luka Doncic. So plus 205 Clippers. A little worried they won't take it seriously, but I still think that's what you got to do. Quickly for my bankroll picks, I keep going back to this team. I'm going to do it again. Minus 28 with the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. I think they're as good as any team in the nation. I think they're going out for style points right now. So Notre Dame minus 28. 2 3.5-point underdogs in the NFL. My favorite point spread. I love getting that extra hook. I'm going to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers plus 3.5 against the Indianapolis Colts to begin. Maybe the Colts are just the best team ever, but you look at their schedule, it leaves a little bit to be desired. I think they have a little ways to go. Give me Pittsburgh plus 3.5, probably the Colts' toughest game so far. And finally, Sunday Night Football, give me Washington plus 3.5. I think Jaden Daniels will be back. We've played Seattle a lot here, but Washington needs this one. Give me Washington, Pittsburgh, and Notre Dame for the bankroll picks. Let's see what the other guys have.
Whoa, you smell that burning there, Kip? It's this one right here. He's on fire, baby. The Kip brothers.
Fan him off here.
The Kip brothers have hit parlays for the last 6 weeks. We're going to let go with you first. What's your bankroll? What you got this weekend?
The Legend Brothers. Right on the tail of our leader, Keefer. The last 5 weeks. Plus,
pretty good.
The Legend, David Legend, told you last week, don't mess with BYU. They've been covered. David Legend tried to tell you.
Don't mess with the Mormons.
9-1 the last 5 weeks, better than anybody in Vegas. Only Danny Sheridan could match it, ladies and gentlemen. And the Legend Brothers are back this week with an amazing 2-team parlay that's going to drive Tony crazy. But I'm back on a first half line in the NFL.
Oh, here we go, the first half line crap. Here we go. Here we go
then. First half line in the NFL on Sunday. But before then, I am taking Tennessee minus 3 over Oklahoma. The Legend Brothers think that Oklahoma is slipping backwards and Tennessee is a better team than their record right now. We like Tennessee in a playoff game, really. Both teams with 2 losses at home, minus 3 over Oklahoma. And Sunday, we like the Detroit Lions coming off of the bye against Minnesota at home, minus 6 in the first half. The Lions minus 6 first half. Tennessee minus 3. The Legends parlay of the week, Kip.
Do we have time left? I mean, for God's sakes. I mean, how long are you going to go?
David Legend. Try to tell about BYU.
Last week I thought BYU would get snarfed out. They did not. They are still undefeated, but there is another team out there undefeated that's going down this weekend. That is being Navy. They've beaten FAU. They've beaten UAB. They've beaten Rice. They've beaten Tulsa. They haven't beaten anybody. They're going to lose North Texas. The Mean Green get it done. Minus 6.5. Take the Mean Green minus 6.5. And the Notre Dame Fighting Irish giving up 4 touchdowns, minus 28 against Boston College. Boston College is terrible. They've been giving up an average of 46 points their last 4 ball games. Notre Dame will run up and down the football field. It'll be 55-13. That's a $150 2-team parlay with Notre Dame minus 28 and North Texas minus 6.5. Keeper's put it all in one basket.
Well, don't forget Kai Gregory.
I was going to do it last, but I'll do it right now. Tennessee over the 56. Tennessee, Oklahoma over 56. And he likes the Hawaiians. The Hawaiians, Hawaii plus 3 against San Jose State. If you're waiting to he always hits the first side of his parlay, and he's trying to pick that second side, so it's going to be the last game on the ledger. Hawaii plus 3 against San Jose State. That is Kai Gregory with the K4.
Well, I'm going to go last because I'm in last place, and I'm not liking in life there very much. But I brought my chips because I'm all in. I'd put them on the table, but I don't have one. I'm all in. I'm going to give them the Legend. Put me down for Rocky Top will always be the bottom of the SEC.
They went.
But I like them this Saturday night. I think they're the 5th best team in the SEC. I think they're still in playoff contention. If they can whack the Sooners, give me the Vols on Rocky Top.
Not very often do you hear someone say they're the 5th best team and like it. We'll let Tennessee have that 5th spot. We're listening to the starting lineup. A full day of great college football right here in your face. Thanks for watching.
Bandy, Texas, up next.
We have liftoff of Season 9 of The Morning After. Terry Quillian and Kip Keefer at the controls.
Hipster, are we there yet?
On our way, Ter. On our way.